Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you the latest anti-gun vote in the Senate, a foiled plot to kill Trump, news on the Dale Howard case within the city, county budget cuts coming, news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, today's gas prices, weather sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, in anti-gun news, last Monday the U.S. Senate rejected 4 measures restricting gun sales. These were inspired after last week's massacre in an Orlando nightclub. The votes dealt with a setback to advocates who have failed to get even modest gun curbs through Congress. The Democrats proposed 2 bills, and the Republicans proposed 2 bills. Both proposed bills to keep guns out of the hands of terrorists. Neither passed. Republicans said the Democratic bill was too restrictive, and the Democrats said the bill didn't go far enough. Seems weird that the Dems wouldn't support the Republican bill. All we ever hear is they are doing nothing, and you'd think a little bit would be better than nothing, but the Dems still wouldn't approve it. Last week's massacre, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history, had intensified pressure on lawmakers. They moved swiftly to take the issue to the Senate floor. But the gun control measures lost in largely party-line votes that showed the lingering political power in Congress of gun rights defenders and the National Rifle Association. Republicans and their allies in the NRA gun lobby said the Democrats' bills were too restrictive and trampled on the constitutional right to bear arms. Democrats attacked the Republicans' 2 proposals as too weak and accused them of being with the NRA. Chris Cox, Executive Director of the National Rifle Association Institute for Legislative Action, attacked the Democrats' amendments and thanked Republicans for rejecting them. He said, "Today, the American people witnessed an embarrassing display in the United States. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Kentucky Republican, said the Democratic measures were ineffective and Republican senators are pursuing real solutions that can help keep Americans safer from the threat of terrorism." As the parties remain largely locked in their positions, polls show Americans are increasingly in favor of more restrictions on guns in the country with more than 310 million weapons. That's about 1 for every citizen. The issue is already a prominent one for voters in November's elections. Presumptive Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton supports new gun restrictions, while Republican Donald Trump expressed a willingness to talk to the NRA about the issue of terrorists getting guns. However, even last night, Trump has restated his position that he believes in the Second Amendment and does not want to restrict gun ownership to law-abiding citizens. In campaign news, last Saturday, a man was arrested trying to wrestle a gun from a police officer at a Las Vegas rally held by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. The young man from England told an investigator he wanted to kill the candidate. According to the court, Michael Stephen Sanford, who prosecutors described as a 19-year-old British national, was arrested on Saturday at the Treasure Island Hotel in Las Vegas after trying to disarm a police officer, according to Las Vegas police. According to charges filed on Monday in federal court in Nevada, Sanford told a Secret Service agent he had driven to Las Vegas from California with the goal of shooting Trump. Sanford claimed he had been attempting to kill Trump for about a year, but decided to act on this occasion because he finally felt confident about trying it. He was charged with committing an act of violence on restricted grounds, according to Natalie Collins, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sanford has not entered a plea and is scheduled to be in court for a preliminary hearing on July 5th. Sanders was quoted as saying that if he had been able to get the gun from the police officer, he figured he probably only would have gotten off 2 or 3 rounds before being killed by return fire from police. Sanford's federal public defender, Heather Fraley, would not be immediately reached for comment. Sanford said he had been in the United States for a year and a half. The records said he had lived in Hoboken, New Jersey after coming to the country. Well, that will be a life-altering decision he made all by himself. In the aftermath of the Senate votes down of the gun bills, pundits brought charges against the left-leaning media and the Obama administration of again trying to deflect the real cause of the terror attacks. It's terrorism. One senator said it's not about guns, it's about terrorists. and to try and call it any other name is nothing more than a deflection from a failed administration policy that is not defeating ISIS. However, there was one congressman yelling in the halls of Congress in an interview that the Orlando shooting had nothing to do with terrorists. It was all about guns. Man, does that make him look deranged or what? Here's a shooting the FBI has announced that was a terror attack. Obama has declared it as a terror attack. Transcripts from the terrorist himself have been released with him declaring his allegiance with ISIS. And this congressman has the gall to stand in the halls of Congress and yell it had nothing to do with terror? Only guns? I really think the electorate for this guy needs to consider replacing him. He seems he has lost touch with reality. Anyway, now I suspect the liberals and left-leaning media will be on a critical campaign against the Republicans. They are already citing new polls of Americans supporting more gun control. What's interesting is the poll question is so leading and vague, it would be hard to say no without looking like a gun nut. The truth is, the ban on assault weapon liberals propose are bans on guns that are already banned. The guns they want to ban are not assault rifles. They are not these big, powerful guns, even Bill O'Reilly was calling them on Monday night. Hey, Bill, while you're generally pretty accurate on things, these AR-style guns are not big, powerful guns. These are small caliber rifles that are not any different than many other rifles. They just look big. They aren't. Don't forget the goal of liberals. We can't get all the guns in one swoop. We need to nibble away at the guns and actually get where we want to get. A total gun ban, by using the term assault weapon, we can take one big bite of the apple and ban millions of these guns. Truth is, there are over 130 million guns in the U.S. I don't know how many there are of these wrongly defined assault weapons, but I hear the numbers could be as high as 40 million AR-style guns are already owned by Americans. The anti-gunners say no one needs one of these guns for home defense. Well, take a look at the recent standoffs between government and some constitutionalists. While I'm not going to get into the causes of those standoffs, the theory still applies. Our forefathers wrote the Second Amendment specifically to allow the citizens of the country to be able to take back their government by force if necessary, if the government became anything other than a free society, as defined by the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Bottom line is these guns are very useful for our home defense. Seen any riots lately? Like those seen after these alleged improper officer shootings of minorities? The media didn't show it, but during these riots, there were store owners that did defend their businesses with these guns. They showed the rioters their guns and said, if you come in here, you're going to die. Amazingly, the rioters moved on to another shop that had no one to defend it. So while the media won't show it, these guns are good for defense of ourselves and our property from those that would harm us. When the police can't be there, we have a right to defend ourselves from the bad guy. And most police departments will acknowledge that they can't be everywhere in times of turmoil. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have some city news. Thanks for staying with us. In city news, for years the city and Mr. Howard have been in a battle over the cleanup of Mr. Howard's properties out in Ridgecrest Heights. The battle has been going on for many years now. Well, the latest is that the properties have now been cleaned up and the receiver has been wanting to get paid for their management of the cleanup. It should be noted that Mr. Howard was given time to clean up the property himself, but he decided to not do that. Even after he lost the court case and was given more time to clean the properties, he only did a little cleanup himself. Had he done the cleanup himself, he wouldn't have had to deal with a receiver. That being said, the receiver was appointed by the court to clean the properties. And that's what they did. But then it came time for the receiver to be paid by Howard. And apparently Mr. Howard does not have the funds to pay the receiver. So the receiver started foreclosure on his home to get paid. But apparently they have possibly reached some kind of agreement to allow Howard to stay in their home. George Bertrand, and longtime friend of Howard's, has stepped up and offered to pay the amount still due the receiver in exchange for a quitclaim deed to Howard's property. And Bertrand will allow Howard to stay in the home indefinitely. This agreement will include monitoring of the property for property maintenance for 18 months, and the Howard family will not have to move. So this seems like a very good solution to the payment dilemma. What will still be outstanding will be the city's legal costs the courts have said they could go after Howard for. I speculate the city probably won't do that. As long as Howard keeps the properties clean and doesn't start going back to making it a junkyard again. Again, this is only speculation on my part. In county news, as we watch the local jail close and the cost to transfer criminals to Bakersfield falls on the city to the tune of about $300,000 per year, the county is now getting ready for more huge budget cuts for this coming year. Kern County Administrative Officer John Nylon released a budget that calls for an across-the-board budget cost cut of 5% for all departments. He is predicting a $49 million general fund deficit and a $21 million deficit in the fire fund. This budget will result in the sheriff cuts of 99 positions, delete 10 deputies, and terminate 16 deputies in training. I have to wonder if these cuts will again target actual services we get here in the Indian Wells Valley, like the last cuts the sheriff did. No other city lost services in the entire county, only we here in the valley. And we're the farthest city from other support. The hardest hit department will probably be the fire department. To keep the fire department going, they will have to use all their over $5 million in reserves and still cut $500K from their budget. Supervisor Gleason is predicting that the department will be reassessing the need of 47 three-man fire stations. Could that be a warning that we'll see a fire department station close here? Again, targeting the Indian Wells Valley? I hope Mr. Gleason actually makes sure that if there are any station cuts here, they better be matched in other areas of the county. If they decide to close any fire station here and not close one elsewhere, that will not be fair. In news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, they are announcing the start of a new 2016 Citizens Police Academy. The PD is currently accepting applications for the 2016 Citizens Police Academy. The Citizens Police Academy is a 9-week program designed to give members of the community an inside look at local law enforcement. During the academy, students will be introduced to a variety of topics to give them an overview of the Ridgecrest Police Department's function and operational procedures. Graduates from the academy are encouraged to continue their involvement with the police department by becoming one of our volunteers in Police and Community Together, PACT, and/or the Community Emergency Response Team, CERT. Participants in the Citizens Police Academy are selected through an application process. Enrollment is limited to 20 students. Potential candidates must meet the following eligibility requirements. You must be a minimum of 18 years of age, must live or work in the Indian Wells Valley, must have no felony convictions, must have had no serious misdemeanor convictions in the last 5 years. The Citizens Police Academy application and information are available at the Ridgecrest Police Department at 100 West California, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also email Sergeant Ryan Marone for an application. Applications will be accepted until Wednesday, July 6, 2016. Classes will begin on Thursday, August 4th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Graduation from the Academy will be held Thursday, September 29th. To learn more about the Academy, please leave a message for Sergeant Ryan Marone at 760-499-5143 or email him at rmarone@ridgecrest-ca.gov. The Citizens Police Academy is a great way to learn about your community, meet people, and get to know the men and women of your police department. In news from the Ridgecrest Animal Shelter, we get this report. They have kittens, and more kittens, dozens, all colors and sizes. Right now, adoption is free with approved application. Free adoption includes spay or neuter, current vaccines, microchip, and free health exam. The Ridgecrest Animal Shelter is located out on County Line Road. It is open 5 days per week, Tuesday through Saturday. They are open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you're looking for a new member of your family, please make the shelter your first stop. They have many great dogs and cats just waiting for a new home. I got my current dog out there, and she's great. Adopt, don't shop. Together, we can save them all. Now, KZGN continues effort to provide news and information you've asked for. Here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Well, since my last report, local prices have held steady. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.57 to $2.89, Lancaster from $2.69 to $3.09, the LA Valley area $2.61 to $2.83, and the Bishop area $2.74 to $2.91. We have 4 stations at $2.57 per gallon and 1 at $2.59 per gallon. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have weather and sports. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, disturbances moving along a front stalled from the northern plains to the mid-Atlantic states will serve as a focusing mechanism for strong to severe thunderstorms over the next few days. Damaging winds and large hail are possible, along with an isolated tornado. In the desert southwest, extreme heat continues. Heat and humidity will increase from the south to the Midwest later in the week. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 84, Georgia at 87, Arkansas at 94, Northern Texas at 94, Arizona at 101, and Los Angeles at 72. And for us locally, tonight, mostly clear with a low around 77, west wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 30. Thursday, sunny with a high near 108, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear with a low around 76, west-northwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Friday, sunny with a high near 106, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, clear with a low around 74, northwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Saturday, sunny with a high near 107, northwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Saturday night, clear with a low around 75, west-northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny with a high near 109, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, clear with a low around 76, west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And Monday, sunny with a high near 110, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. Now here's Tom back with sports.
And a very pleasant early Wednesday evening to everyone. And tonight we have kind of a special guest, Kevin Martin, a great baseball area coach, gives a lot back to the community, big supporter of all the athletic programs throughout the valley, and has his own successful business and has helped us up here at Saracoso College. But Kevin, you've worked with John Bradley in Burroughs High School baseball the last 5 years, and talk about the upcoming future there. Do you have a lot of guys back next year, and what do you guys do in the summer?
Yeah, well, right now we got 4 guys coming back. We lost 4 guys from last year, so pretty much everybody's coming back that's on varsity. And this summer, right now, we're just kind of taking a break. The summers are cut short with the new, school starting earlier, and so we're taking a break and going to pick it back up in the fall and get ready for the season.
Okay. Now you're also very active with IWV programs and everything in the past, and I know you do stuff with your kids. But talk about the youth baseball programs they have in the Ridgecrest area.
Well, IWV, it's a really good program for the kids around. I mean, that's what I grew up in. That's what my brother grew up in, and my younger son, actually, he's with the junior dog travel team for the last couple of years now. So we haven't really been involved too much with IWV in the baseball sense, but the high school kids still go down there and help them out, and do sports day with them and help them out there. So.
Talk about the travel ball now. I know that at least this weekend, Coach Scott, Justice Scott, our baseball coach, his son Chase is involved with the All-Stars there. Now talk about that program, and I guess according to Coach Scott, if they win this weekend, they would play again either the next weekend or the weekend after. So if you keep winning, you keep playing. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. The All-Stars has been the same thing, ever since I was growing up. So you just keep winning, keep moving on. It's just basically every weekend it's a tournament, and the kids go there and play. And parents have to travel. It's really tough a lot of times, especially in the summertime with the parents travel and everything. But being in Ridgecrest, if you want to play competitive baseball or competitive any sports, you're going to have to travel regardless. It's just one of those things that everybody kind of grew up with around here, and we've accepted it, and it's just something that we do.
Okay. And lastly, I want to ask about this year's baseball team up at Burroughs High School. I don't think I've ever remember a league finishing so close to each other in the standings. I mean, it was a difference of one game between either winning or tying, being first place, or being in fourth place.
Right.
Do you ever remember it like that?
No, I've never seen anything that close, and that's why I think next year it's going to go to 3 games. We play each team 3 times instead of this year 2 times, so that'll kind of be the deciding factor. So we won't have the same situation that we had this year. And we told the kids going into the last game of the season, and this is with 5 out of 6 teams. It was, hey, either you win, you're in first place; you lose, you're in 5th place. So it was kind of a tough situation because we lost, so that means we were in 5th place. Unfortunately, but it was 2-1 game. We lost. It was a good game, and we didn't make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years that we've been coaching. And we thought we had the best team that we ever had. So it's just part of it.
Kevin, appreciate your time. And real quick on the scoreboard, the Angels lose in Houston last night, 3-2. They win to the 9th inning, leading 2-1, and Houston Street couldn't get the save last night. The Angels currently 14.5 back. The Rangers also lost last night, and the Astros playing a lot better. Kevin, are you an Angel fan?
Dodger fan.
Dodger fan. And last night the Dodgers, I think, got a W. And
didn't even look. I was
yeah.
too busy.
He's too busy.
Yeah.
He's working, making all the money. Someone's got to do all that stuff. All right, that's your sports for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk. Coming up next.